Joined by Ferris State football head coach Tony Annese. Coach, first, congratulations on making it this far in your season, competing for a national championship again. How's that feel?
Oh, it feels so great. You know, it never gets old, you know. I mean, people are like, oh, is this old hat? Are you kidding me? It's like, you know, every time is like the first time kind of deal. You know, they treat you so well at McKinney, and it's such an exciting situation for everyone involved. And so, yeah, it's just an incredible achievement by our players and our staff, and really excited to be here.
How important is that experience that you guys have been here a couple of times, including a lot of the players, their second or even third national championship appearance?
Yeah, we were talking, you know, there's 4 offensive linemen that out of our 5 that, you know, played in that game in 2022. So, you know, it matters, but it's still, every time it's a new challenge, you know, new team, you know, new personnel for them, and just trying to put a scheme together to neutralize their talent.
To get to this point, you had to top a very good Slippery Rock team last week, a game that you were trailing at halftime, and you said post-game you like to remind the guys 0-0 at halftime, let's win the second half. How did that message help them come out with a victory?
Yeah, normally you say that when you're ahead and you're like, okay, you know, you just try to win the second half, but I said it when we were behind because I just really felt like if we could just get our confidence and make some plays that we could still win the game. But, you know, they did great. Give them a lot of credit. And it's challenging, man. I mean, when you play, you know, 3 great teams, we've played the MIAA champ, the GAC, you know, co-champ, and then obviously the, you know, team out of the PSAC that's been probably the most powerful PSAC program over the course of the last 6 years, because they've been in the playoffs for 6 straight years. So they've done a super job, and they're a great program.
It's on your last full practice today. What's left to do?
Pray is one. You know, I think that just kind of refine the things that you want to do in regards to, you know, your game plan. Tomorrow we'll go through that. But ultimately, you know, a lot of it is take it all in, you know. I mean, just take it all in. I want my guys to take it all in. I want my coaching staffs to take it all in. I want us to, you know, just sometimes in life you just don't ever, you know, appreciate where you're standing, you know. And I just want to appreciate where we are right now and have our players appreciate it and know that the long 20 seasons that we've been involved in this process is, first off, it's all worth it right at the end, but it's just so satisfying to look back and say, wow, we did this.
Tony, you got a bunch of guys that are from really close to Big Rapids. How important was it for you to build a program with local kids?
Yeah, I said it on December 22nd, 2011. I said that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight hard to win West Michigan. There's 2 great football programs in West Michigan that have done really well, in Grand Valley and Davenport. So it's hard sometimes to, you know, to win against them in recruiting. But the West Michigan kids we do have are super young men, great players, and have just really impacted our program in a positive way. And so, yeah, really pleased that, you know, our quarterback's from Forest Hills Northern, and I heard he's an All-American, which, you know, back when we were recruiting him, I think it was just 2 schools that recruited him, us and Davenport. So, and some D3s. But, you know, Sturzma, of course, recruited him because he recruits everybody in West Michigan. But it's great to get a kid like that and have him perform that way.
You really wasn't like your guaranteed starter coming in. What's this? How did this happen?
Well, both of them knew they were the guaranteed starters, and you know, they had earned that. You know, Trinidad was super. There's times he was like better than, you know, Malik Mitchell was in 22. You know, I mean, there's times he was just that good, but it just is a process. You know, Trinidad wanted to redshirt in 22 just to save a year, and so it's a process. And you know, young people don't always stick to the process, right? So I didn't know if he was going to be like a crazy weightlifting guy, and he's a crazy weightlifting guy. And I didn't know he was going to be like one of the most coachable kids on earth, but he's one of the most coachable kids on earth. I didn't know. I knew his skill set, but I didn't know how tough he was going to be. He's tough. And so all those things came to fruition, and he's obviously impacted our team in a positive way.
Brady's high school coach used to joke that if you picked the guys that were standing on the field, he'd usually be the last guy picked, and then you'd regret it immediately. What has he brought to this program?
Well, you see, he kicks onside kicks for us. He returns punts for us. He holds for us. He, is a quarterback sometimes. We put him back there in the Wildcat. He's a slot. I mean, he's just everything. And he's just been that way. He's just built that way. And Koziak identified that, obviously, at Mona Shores, and it was easy for us to identify it. And, funny thing was, we were at the Muskegon-Mona Shores game his senior year, and my son Steve, who was driving me nuts, you got to offer Brady, you got to offer Brady, you got to offer Brady. So I'm like, all right, if Mona Shores wins this game, I'm offering Brady tonight. And by God, they won the game. So I got on the phone and called him and offered him on the way home from that game. And just a superstar player.
How many times has Steve said, "I told you so"?
Oh my gosh! I mean, in that situation or in every situation, I mean, I hear it maybe 70 times a day. So he's good at that for sure.
How fun is it to have your son on staff?
It's crazy. I got two sons working for me, Steve, who's my oldest, Anthony, who's my youngest, and my nephew, who's Tony. And so it's a family affair. Beyond that, it's bigger than that. I've known Brian Rock for 30-some years. I knew Sam Parker, our O-line coach, when he was a fifth grader. His dad was coaching for me in Muskegon. Ryan Hodges played for me in 1994 at Montrose High School. He's my co-defensive coordinator. It goes on and on with the connections, the family. Grant Caserta is our linebacker coach. Jim, who was the West Ottawa head coach, who is a great friend of mine. And so it goes on and on. It's family, and it's incredible.
Last thing, what would another championship mean to you?
Another championship would mean more to the players than it would be for me. I would just smile and say, wow, look at these guys, they got another ring. So for me, it just really, my legacy is more about just, having great relationships with young people. The Jason Vanderlons, who's coaching at Rockford, to Landon Grove, who's coaching at West Catholic. And I would have to mention a lot of guys, so I'll just stop there. But that's the legacy. It's just, those guys texting me all the time, so excited and coming down here and that kind of stuff. And for Ferris State, it's just a super experience for everybody involved. But for me, I got a few rings, and I've looked at them probably, once in the last year or so. But it's awesome for the university.